Friday, September 20. I was up and getting ready for school when I noticed I still had that rash from my fox film. I was choked on my minty fresh tartar control extra brightly mouthwash strength cavity fighting gel toothpaste. Now that my crush, Brandon, had finally noticed I was alive, there's no way I was going to school with a rash that made my ear look like it belonged to a severy sunburned silver elf. You know, the ones who make cookies inside a tree trunk instead of with ants, termites, spice, and beetles. I always wonder what those brown, clumsy things were in their cookies. Ew! Anyway, I knew my mom was not going to let me stay home from school unless I was spiking a temperature at least 289 degrees, which BTW is the same temp she used to bake her Thanksgiving turkey. Multiple requirements for a Thanksgiving turkey and a sick daughter. My mom's life motto is, hey, why let a little case of gangman or leprosy get in the way of achieving a good education? After trying every trick in the book, I finally figured out how to convince my mom I was too year to go to school. I had to pretend to throw up all over myself. Now how sick is that? I came up with this idea last spring after Brianna and the stomach flu. Mom took time off from work and let my sister stay at home from school for an entire week. On top of that, she totally pampered Brianna by buying her some favorite Disney movies on DVD and a new computer game to keep her occupied while she was in bed. I think that volley must have really got to do with Mom. About 3 weeks later, I stayed home from school with a bad case of strep throat and was hoping to get at least get a couple of new CDs out of it. But Mom bought me was a cozy box of popsicles. And to make matters worse, they were really gross, low car-like kind with no sugar. They taste like frozen pickle juice on a stick. I was like, delish. Thanks a million, Mom. But I'm to admit, Brianna was a lot sicker than I was. She couldn't keep anything down, not even water. I refused to go anywhere near her unless I was suited up in full puke protection gear. Since I was pretty sure Mom was not going to consider my rash serious enough to let me stay home from school, I decided to run downstairs and make a quick batch of phony vomit, aka fox puke, which I needed because the rash caused by my fox film. It was just another one of life's surprising little ironies. Lucky for me, I was the first one out of bed, which meant I had the kitchen completely to myself for about 15 minutes. Since things were going to get a little messy, I changed my old hard PJs and rushed downstairs. My secret recipe was easy to make and looked like smell the real thing. Stay home from school fox vomit. 1 cup of cooked oatmeal. 2 half cup of sour cream or buttermilk ranch dressing or anything that smells like rancid sour milk. 2 chopped cheese steaks for chunkiness. 1 uncooked egg for underlying sign texture. 1 can of split pea soup for pure green color. For like 1 cup of raisins to increase grass odyssey. Mix ingredients and simmer over low heat for 2 minutes. Let mixture cool to warm vomit temperature. Use liberally as needed. Makes 4 to 5 4 to 5 cups. Warning, this stuff is so gross that it might really make you sick to your stomach cause you really threw up, which case you really need to stay home from school. I poured out 2 cups into a bowl, ran back upstairs to my room and dumped them in front of my PJs. They yelled down to the hall, really when me most. Mom, please come quick, I don't feel so good. My stomach is really queasy and think I'm going to... Of course, it was like a charm. Mom was totally convinced and said that not only did I have an upset stomach, but also there was a mid rash in my ear. She said that since I was not running a temperature, I'd probably feel better after a day of bed rest. I told her that suddenly I was feeling much better. Alrighty, wink wink. Then she cleared up my mess, helped with my bubble bath, and tucked me back into bed with a kiss. I actually slept until Traya Blank's show came on at noon. I just loved that girl. However, when I went down into the kitchen to grab a bite for lunch, I suddenly realized that I totally forgot to pour leftovers of my fox vomit down to the garbage disposal. So when I saw my mom had left a note for me in the counter right next to the now empty pot of puke, I just knew she was onto me and I really in big trouble. I tried packing in my stomach, starting to feeling queasy, but this time for real. Her note said, "Dear Nikki, thanks for making breakfast for us even you're not feeling well this morning. Your oatmeal was delicious and we all had seconds. You must cook this for us again soon. You're so very lucky to have such a kind and considerate daughter. Thanks again. Love, Mom." P.S. I hope you are feeling better. I spent the entire afternoon just lounging around, watching television and raiding the fridge. I even ordered a pizza. Plus, I had 3 things to be very happy about. 1. The Tyra Banks show rocked. 2. My rest completely cleared up. 3. My parents think I'm 14-year-old Rachel Ray. Monday, September 23. I think Chloe and Zoe had totally lost their minds. First of all, they practically freaked out when Mrs. Peach announced me she was taking 6 of her most hardworking and committed ASAs on a 5-day field trip to New York City Public Library to participate in National Library Week. From what I understand, it's like big Mardi Gras celebration for people obsessed with libraries. Mrs. Peach is already making plans, even though it's in April, which is still a whole 7 months away. But when Mrs. Peach there was going to be a meet and greet with a lot of famous authors like Katie Barron, Scott Westerfield, DJ McHale, and some guy I never heard of. Zoe said he was Dr. Phil's son and her fave step-help guru for teens. Chloe and Zoe actually started jumping up and down and screaming their heads off. It was like, "Girlfriend, like a chill pill, please." I mean, I was excited, but not that excited. Now, if Mrs. Peach had announced that she was going to take us NYC to have meet and greet like Jonas Brothers, Kanye West, and Justin Timberlake, I would have hyperventilated, fainted, and rolled down the floor having senses. Chloe and Zoe are really nice and sweet friends, but I have to admit that sometimes they are like so weird. The whole time we were subbing books, they're talking non-stop about how we need to do something really essential to convince Mrs. Peach to select the 3 of us for the trip to NYC. Well, why don't we just try to be the most hardworking and committed ASAs, I suggested. And we could start by making dusting up the books. It was a no-brainer to me. But Chloe and Zoe both looked at me like I was crazy. All of the other LSAs are going to be boring, so that to impress her. Chloe groaned. Yeah, we need to come up with a secret plan that will blow Mrs. Peach's mind. Zoe said excitedly. So, dusting up the library books was not exactly a mind-blowing idea, but it definitely would have solved my little sneezing problem. We are putting up a batch of brand new magazines when Chloe swiped "That's so hot" and buried her nose in it. Suddenly, she gasped and shrieked, "OMG! This is exactly what we should do!" What? Get makers and become teen supermodels? I asked sarcastically. No, of course not, Chloe said, rolling her eyes at me. I know. Make your face zit poof. Zoe said, reading one of the captions printed on the magazine cover. No way, Chloe said. Not that. She was so excited her eyes are partly bulging out of her sockets. Then she shoved the magazine in her face and said, This! Me and Zoe were like, tattoos? Are you nuts? A tattoo prominent reading would have been perfect. And it would show that we are serious and committed. Then Mrs. Peach was choose up for the field trip for sure. Chloe squealed. That's a wicked idea, Zoe says, staring at the beautiful tattoo model in the magazine. I bet it would go so cool as her when you get ours. Sweet. Okay, I could deal with going on a board field trip for National Library Week, but there was no way I was getting a tattoo to celebrate going on a boring field trip for National Library Week. I mean, what kind of tattoo would I get? Read or die? I had to think fast. I agree, this is the coolest idea, you guys, but I just need to find out a few days ago. I'm super allergic to spray painting hearing aids. Chloe and Zoe looked really confused. Why would anyone spray paint a hearing aid? That's like so bizarre. Chloe said, shaking her head like I was really pathetic. Zoe agreed. That's when I lost it and yelled at them both. You know what I think is bizarre? Bizarre is getting a tattoo for National Library Week. But it just said inside of my head, so no one else heard it but me. Well, spray paint and tattooing are both kind of colorful, so I'm pretty sure I'm allergic, I said. Which is really unfair because I'm totally looking forward to getting a tattoo one day before I die. Well, if it's a medical problem, we understand, right, Zoe? Hey, why don't you help us pick out our tattoos? Chloe was trying to make me feel better. Yeah, we should ask our parents to get one of them this weekend, Zoe said sadly. I can hardly wait to see the look on Mrs. Peach's face when she sees our tattoos. But I already knew what her face was going to look like when she saw Chloe and Zoe. Mrs. Peach? Ah! Oh no! Crash. Poor Mrs. Peach. Tuesday, September 24. I was hoping Chloe and Zoe were over their wacky idea of getting tattoos for National Library Week. Thank goodness their parents said, no way. But when I saw them in gym class, they were still pretty upset. Our gym teacher divided us into groups of 3 for a ballet scales test. And at first I was happy that me, Chloe, and Zoe were together. Each group was supposed to pick classical music from the teacher CD collection, then make up a short dance routine using 5 ballet positions we had learned over the past weeks. Since I knew a lot of them, I was sure I was going to get an A or that lowest, maybe B plus on the test. But unfortunately, Chloe and Zoe were too depressed to participate. I was like, come on guys, cheer up. We had to make up our ballet routine and practice before we run out of time. But both of them just stared at me with big, sharp puppy dog eyes. can't believe our parent would just let tattoos. How unfair is that? Chloe whined. And now Mrs. Peach will never pick us for the trip to NYC. It's like our hopes and dreams were served and then died. Zoe sniffed, wiping a tear. They spent the next 45 minutes venting, and I, being sensitive and caring friend that I am, sat quietly and listened. Then the gym teacher came over and told us she was going ready to start grading and we're going to be the second group to go. I just had a heart attack because we hadn't succeeded and selected any music or made up a routine. I ran over really quick to grab a CD, and the only left was Swan Lake. And since I'd seen Mackenzie looking at it a few minutes earlier, I was definitely a little suspicious. So the first thing I did was pop open the CD case and peek inside. I was surprised and relieved to see that a CD was still in there. Hey, I didn't trust that girl I thought I could throw for. Mackenzie's group was first, and I had to admit they were pretty good. But it wasn't due to their awesome talent combined. The three of them had like 89 years of private lessons. They danced at the Sugar Plum Fairy and ended their routine like this. What a bunch of show-offs. I mean, what real classically trained ballerina would end her dance like doing splits and testing, which BTW means smiling, like she just got her braces off or something. I was like, hey girlfriend, this ain't Dancing with the Stars. But I just stayed inside her head so no one else heard but me. We were up next and I started getting butterflies in my stomach, not because I was nervous, but I really hated humiliating myself in public. Chloe must have seen the look on my face because she whispered, don't panic, just follow my lead. I took ballet lessons for 3 weeks back in 2nd grade, I said. Thanks for sharing that, Chloe. Now I feel so much better. Then Chloe whispered, what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Ralph Waldo Emerson, which of course had nothing whatsoever to do with anything. I had a really bad feeling about our routine, and we hadn't even started yet, mainly because I discovered our Swan Lake City was actually not a Swan Lake City. It says Swan Lake on the case, but the CD inside said something else. When I read the title, I was like, what the? It was Thriller by Michael Jackson. Then my teacher snatched the CD out of my hand and popped into the CD player and told us to take our place in front of the class. I was about to say we had a slight comparison with our music, then I got distracted when my Mackenzie group started squealing, hugging each other. They got an A+ on the routine, but it was not like I was jealous or anything. I mean, how jubilant would that be? Anyway, when our music came on, Chloe must have completely forgotten we were supposed to be doing a ballet routine because she started going some funky dance moves, like she was one of those hot-rotted zombies from the 3-year music video. The next thing I knew, Zoe was acting like a zombie too, so I didn't have a choice but to follow along. Plus, I figured our teacher would probably unlock a few points of our grade if Chloe and Zoe were staggering around like an undead and I was doing ballet plays in first and third position. Okay, really, like Zoe. Okay, I really like Chloe and Zoe. But while I was up there dancing with them, I couldn't help thinking, where am I? Flat paper for freaks? I had to keep reminding myself that this whole thing was Mackenzie's fault, not theirs. Actually, I was surprised that Chloe and Zoe were actually good dancers. It's like our team gym teacher was pretty impressed too, because when we finished, she just stared at us with her mouth open and started tapping her ink pen on our clipboard really fast. Then she asked us to see her after class. We were totally nervous when we went up to talk to her because we didn't know what to expect. Chloe and Zoe thought maybe she was going to ask us to join the school's dance squad. since she was an assistant coach. I was keeping my fingers crossed on that one because dance squad meant automatic membership in the CCP. Quick. Our teacher smiling said, "Girls, if you're doing the selection of contemporary dance, you should have definitely got an A plus." After hearing that, I was pretty sure she was going to give us a good grade in our routine, even though we had made it up on the spot with the wrong music. Then our teacher stopped smiling. "The three of you were supposed to be doing a classical ballet, but you weren't even close. The highest grade I can give you is AD. I'm really sorry." We were like, "Oh no, she didn't." Me, Chloe, and Zoe were crushed, literally. And I screamed at my teacher, "Are you nuts? How in the world can you give it a D? Do you even realize how tricky those dance steps were? It was definitely a lot harder than it looked. Let me see you trying to move along like a zombie, sister." But I just said all of that in my head, so no one heard it but me. And get this. Then our teacher said, had the nerve to tell us to hit the showers. Like, what does showering have to do with classical ballet? Absolutely nothing. I was a little peeved at Chloe and Zoe because if they had not been wasting time writing about tattoos and National Library Week, we could have made up a dance and ballet routine to the conic music and maybe earned at least a C. But no. Then I lost things went bad to worse. Chloe and Zoe had a total meltdown. They actually came up with this elaborate scheme to run away from home and live in a secret underground tunnel beneath New York City Public Library. The crazy part was that they planned to leave this Friday and just hang out for 7 whole months till National Library Week rolled down in April. They figure at last by arriving early, they get in free and be first in line for the author meet and greet. Chloe said reading at the library was going to be an exhilarating experience because they could read all the books they wanted. 24 hours a day without having to check them out or reshelve them. And Zoe said they were going to live up the wet Pepsi and nachos when they planned to swap in the library snack bar each night. I can't believe Chloe and Zoe are actually going to do something crazy, dangerous, and illegal. And I plan to do everything in my power to stop them. Why? Because Chloe and Zoe are my best friends at the school and my only friends at the school, but that's beside the point. Unfortunately, I only had two options. One, rat them out their rents and risk losing their friendship forever. Or two, figure out a way to get girlfriends some tattoos for National Library Week PBQ, which BTW means pretty darn quick. Wednesday, September 25. I hardly got any sleep last night. I kept having horrible nightmares about Chloe and Zoe living in a secret underground tunnel beneath NYC Public Library. One of my dreams were they were having a dinner party with some their neighbors. And the scariest one, I got to marry Brandon Roberts and Chloe and Zoe, my bridesmaids. But they brought a few uninvited guests to my wedding. I actually woke up screaming on my head when I realized it was just a very bad dream. Thursday, September 26th. This morning at breakfast, my little sister Brianna got on my last nerve. I was just sitting there eating my Chinaman live reading the back of the cereal box and trying to figure out what I was going to do about the Chloe and Zoe situation. They're planning to leave in less than 24 hours. Brianna was eating fruity pebbles and drawing a face in her hand with ink pen. She said she was naming the face Mrs. Penelope because she was born from a pen. Even though I was trying to concentrate on my personal problems, Mrs. Penelope asked me to watch her perform Itsy Bitsy Spider in the Rania Rex version. Apparently, the Itsy Bitsy Spider went up the water spout and got washed away in the rain because he had no umbrella. The whole thing annoyed me to no end because I wasn't that into puppet shows. Anyway, I watched Brianna and Miss Penelope to keep quiet me. Maybe because I was in really horrible mood. I was not happy matter that Mrs. Penelope's awful singing sounded like a humpback whale in labor. She must have been highly insulted by my unbrassed etiquette of her singing abilities, because she hauled off and punched my arm. So I grabbed Mrs. Penelope and tried to drown her like a steamroller boat. I was like, "God, milk!" Brianna started screaming. "Stop it! Miss Penelope can't swim! Let her go! You're smudging her face!" But I wouldn't let go. That is, until my mom walked into the kitchen. "Why on earth are you shoving your sister's hand in your cereal? Let go of her this instant." So I released Miss Penelope only because I didn't have a choice. Brianna stuck her tongue at me. "Miss Penelope says she's not invited to her birthday party. Nah, 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 nah." Then I stuck my tongue out at her and said, "I already not invited to her birthday party, so there!" I could thank Mackenzie for that one. Anyway, I think I taught Miss Penelope a good lesson. I bet she won't be interrupting my breakfast again anytime soon. Since my cereal had been contaminated by Mrs. Penelope's germs, I dumped it to the sink and ran upstairs into my bedroom. I sat on my bed and started my world, and a million thoughts bouncing over my head. I had to admit Chloe and Zoe's situation seemed hopeless, and there was nothing I could do to fix it. To make matters worse, Miss Penelope was still in the kitchen singing up key. I thought my ears were going to bleed. I felt like taking my favorite pen, a water-based, non-toxic purple gel ink pen by Hot Writer Ink, and drawing a big flat zipper across her mouth to shut her up. But I'm pretty sure my mom would have just yelled at me again. I'm only just used to write in my diary to ringing a good luck, but lately the good luck part hasn't been looking so well. I was throwing my pillows in the fingers, and suddenly the crazy idea popped into my head. I was like, "OMG, this might work!" I quickly scribbled out 2 notes and then ran out to school with 15 minutes away to take them into Chloe and Zoe's lockers. Meet me in the general closet before class starts. It's really important. Nikki. I waited in the janitor's closet for 5 long minutes, and I was starting to worry they were not going to show up. But finally, they did. "I hope you didn't ask us to come here and to try and change our minds about running away," Chloe said, real serious like. "Yeah, this is something we just gotta do," Zoe said, staring at the floor. It got so sad and quiet. I thought I was going to cry. I asked you to both to come here to tell about a special present I wanted to give you on Monday. But since you're leaving tomorrow, of course, this made Chloe and Zoe really curious, and they started begging me to tell them what it was. Well, you may not know this, but I'm pretty decent artist. I'm not that I'm bragging or anything, since you guys are my BFFs. I decided to personally give you each a tattoo, temporary ones, in honor of the Nestor every week. At first, Chloe and Zoe just stared at me. They couldn't believe it. Then they started screaming and jumping up and down and hugging me. Me, Chloe, Zoe doing a group hug. "Just decide what kind you want," I said, "and I'll design it over the weekend and draw it during lunch on Monday. But you both have to make me one promise." "Anything!" Zoe gushed. "Let me guess. We have to ditch our plan to run away and live at the NYC library?" "Okay then, it's officially cancelled," Chloe announced and did a jazz hands, like the show was over. Actually, that's what I meant, I said, hiding my smile and trying to look all scary serious. I want you to promise me you won't bring rats to my wedding. What? They looked at me, they were like I was crazy. Never mind, I giggled. It's a long story. For that Friday, September 27th. Before biology class started, I noticed Brandon was kinda staring like me, but I wasn't sure it was my imagination or not. Lately, it seemed like wherever I looked at him, he was looking at me. But then we both looked away and pretending like we weren't really looking at each other. Well, today he actually smiled at me and said, "So, which shell cycle would you rather study? Mysterious or Menosis?" I smiled back and kind of shrugged my shoulders because actually I hated both of them equally, and I was afraid that anything I said would probably make me look like a bigger idiot than he already thought I was. And the main reason I couldn't talk to Brandon because I was suffering from a very severe and debilitating case of RCS, or roller coaster syndrome. Studies show that it mainly attacks girls between ages 8 and 16. The symptoms is difficult to describe, but wherever Brandon talks to me, my stomach feels like I'm dropping 300 meters at 80 miles per hour. Simply call it butterflies is a common and dangerous misdiagnosis. And suddenly and without warning, I feel compelled to throw my hands up in the air like I just don't care and scream, "Whee!" Then my day even got better. While I was working in the library, Brandon came to return a book called Photography and You. I was just sitting there doodling a few tattoo designs for Chloe and Zoe when he leaned across the counter and picked up my notebook. "Well, that is good. I didn't know you were an artist." I looked around to see who was talking to. Then I totally freaked out when I realized he was actually talking to me. I could hardly breathe. "Thanks, but it's not a big deal. I've been going to art camp like forever, and last summer I practically a million mosquito bites, and wow, did they ever itch?" I battled like an idiot. "Well, one thing for sure, you definitely got skills." Brandon's head was dang hanging in his eyes again as he smiled and kind of leaned in harder, even closer to look at my sketches. I thought I was going to die. He smelled like snuggle fabric softener, like Axe body spray and red isolate. I couldn't stop blushing, and there was no way I could draw with him watching me like that. I started feeling like a roller coaster thing all over again. Whee! Suddenly Brandon's eyes seemed to twinkle in excitement. "Hey, are you entering the avant-garde art competition? I'll be writing for the newspaper." "Yeah, I'm thinking about it, but everyone's saying Mackenzie's fashion illustration going to win this year. So I don't know." "Mackenzie? Are you kidding? You have more talent in your smallest bird than she has in your entire bodies. I'm serious. You know that, right?" I could not believe Brandon actually said that. It was so rude, so wickedly funny, so true. We both laughed really hard, and I didn't know he had such a wacky sense of humor. Since Chloe and Zoe came straggling up to the front desk, each loading down a stack of books that needed to be put away. When they saw their mouths drop open, they looked at me, then at Brandon, then at me again, then at Brandon, then back at me, then Brandon, then me, then Brandon again. This went like forever. They gawked me at us like we were new exhibit at the zoo or something. It was so embarrassing. Brandon's smile went slightly crooked, but otherwise he acted coolly nonchalantly about the whole thing. Hey Chloe, hey Zoe, he said. But they were so shocked they didn't even answer him. Well, I better get to class. See you later, Nicky. Then he strode out to the door and disappeared into the hall. Chloe and Zoe made a big deal about Brandon and talking to me and started nagging me to me he was my secret crush. After I made them both pinkish were sorry not to tell anyone, I told them about how Brandon had helped me up after Jack got trapped in the cafeteria a couple of weeks ago. Then I grabbed my bag and unzipped this cute little pocket in the front and showed them the napkin. At first, they started at me up, but they soon were teasing me and giggling like two kindergartners. Brandon and Nikki sitting in the G. K-I-S-S-I-N-G. They told them to shut up before anyone overheard them and got out all over the school. Chloe insisted I keep the napkin for the rest of my life because there was a chance that Brandon and I could accidentally meet on some extraordinary romantic island in 20 years from now. She said it could happen just like they did in those chick flicks at the movie theater. My best friend's napkin, Sleepless in San Diego. Directed by Chloe Christina Gardner. Brandon, I couldn't help but notice you've across the room and be hopeless drawn your brains and beauty. It almost seems that we met before. Perhaps in another place, another time, another life. Me. Alas! Allergy season is upon us. Please, take this most cherished napkin from my very, very heart-wrenching mysterious past and do with it what you must. Shh! Me. What a powerful sneeze you have! Is apparently captured in this delicate napkin of forgotten love. How merely disposed tissues drenched in lost and shattered dreams. Brandon. Hark! Do mine eye deceive me? I recognize our napkin in even the darkest and murky depths. My joy and passion overwhelm me. Brandon. Is it really you, my beloved Nikki? Finally, I found my true love. Will you marry me? The end. I told Chloe her story was really sweet and romantic, but the napkin was really dripping with snot, and Brandon proposed in the spot like that. My story would probably have a difficult ending. Me. Gee, Brandon, I think we need to take this a little bit slower. First, let's get rid of the snotty napkin. Second, how about a pizza in the movie? The end. Chloe says she didn't blame me for rewriting Chloe's happy ending because not and airborne practical parodies were the most common way of transmitting germs to others. But Chloe complained we both totally missed the point. The napkin germ or not should be cherished because it was token of Brandon's love. And after reeling twilight, she learned that forbidden love, obsession, and sacrifice could be very messy things, just like snot. I had to admit that Chloe had a really good point. Then Zoe said I should always remember that guys from Mars and girls are from Venus because they think and commune very differently. According to a book that she was reading on dating. I was really surprised to hear this because I thought for sure that Earth was the only planet with human life on it. I'm really glad Chloe and Zoe know so much about guys, dating, love, and stuff like that. Because I don't have a clue. Duh! Saturday, September 28th. This is going to be my longest diary entry ever. I had the most horrible headache and it's all Brianna's fault. Why couldn't I have been born an only child? Okay, this is what happened. My mom and Brianna were supposed to see Matty movie today, but mom just needed to go to the mall to buy her a present for a baby shower she was attending later this evening. So she offered me $10 to take Brianna to the movie in her place. Since I was broke, I agreed to it. I figured that in the worst, I could sleep through the movie and earn $10 per 90-minute nap. The movie is called Princess Sugar Plum Shade Bailey Unicorn Island, Part 3. There must have been 400 squealing little girls and and half of them were dressed like princesses and unicorns. I should have charged my mom $50 for taking Brianna because the whole event was so sugary sweet it actually made me nauseous. But Brianna thought the movie was super scary because there was a fairy in it, and she has this irrational fear that the tooth fairy is going to pull her out of her teeth to make dentures for old people. I guess you could say she suffers from fairy phobia. Anyway, Brianna partly drove me crazy because every time the fairy appeared on the screen, she got really scared, grabbed my arm, and bumped into my popcorn. I must have dumped 3 whole boxes on the nice lady sitting next to me. But when that nice lady looked, she was going to slug me. I decided it would be safer to eat rashness instead. I was too happy when that stupid movie was finally over. Brianna and I were waiting near the main entrance for Mom to pick us up. However, when I saw Dad pull up his Maxwell's bug explanation van, I got a real bad feeling though. That creepy-looking rose bottle on top in his van gave the most people a real bad feeling. BTW, the roach's name is Max, counting for Brianna because it had a puppy. I named him Max. I was like, oh crud, if anyone from my school saw me getting into Dad's van, my life will be over. I scanned a crowd for middle school kids, and luckily it was most 3 to 6-year-olds. Hi girl, hop in, your mom is still shopping. I just got an emergency call to get your ride along to keep me company, Dad said, winking. I was like, thanks Dad, but I have an awful lot of homework to do, so could you just drive me home first, please? I was trying really hard to remain calm. My dad glanced at his watch and frowned. Sorry, but I don't have time to swing out by the house. This customer is hysterical and has agreed to pay my emergency rates. She's hosting some kind of big syndic later today and says her house is crawling with bugs inside and out. Hundreds of them just showed up in the blue this morning. Eh! Brianna said, stretching up her nails. Sounds like a box shattering sensation to me. Dad continued. Hopefully she's not throwing that baby shower to your mom is supposed to be attending later today. I grumpily climbed in the front seat of the van and tried to crouch down really now so no one could see me. Where we stopped the red light, a bunch of people could point, stare and laugh, not at me, at our roach. For some reason, Brianna thought all the gawkers were just being friendly. She started smiling, waving and throwing kisses out the window like she was crown Miss America or something. And Dad was pretty used to the rude stares. He just ignored them and hung on to Saturday Night Fever CD. Thankfully, I noted the empty grocery bag sitting under the seat. Even though he said, warning, to avoid serious injury or death, please keep passing away from very young children. I poked 2 eye holes on it and pulled that down over my head. First of all, I wasn't a very young child. And second of all, I'd rather suffer from a slow and painful death by expedition than be spotted riding around the road mobile. I have to admit, we probably look like a freak show on wheels. It was so embarrassing. I wonder how serious my injuries could be if I jumped from a moving vehicle traveling 45 miles per hour. Assuming I survived, I could at least walk home and in the end, milling around in Dad's van. About 10 minutes later, we drove on a long driveway that led to a huge house. Wow, nice house, I thought. Too bad he has bugs. We understand the house now. Daddy, can I go inside with you? Pretty please. Sorry, Punky, but you have to wait out in the van with your sister and make sure no one steals Max, okay? Like, who in their right mind would want Max? Two shiny black balls about half-inch long landed on the window on our van. Yep, Fox elders are right. Dad said, eyeing them carefully. Basically, just a harmonized door to spray on the entire premises. Will probably take about 20 minutes, but I'll try to get it done as fast as I can. If you girls need anything, I'll be right inside. Download this command and log it up in the front steps. Before he could ring the doorbell, a frantic-looking middle-aged lady, designer clothing, opened the door and ushered him in. Rihanna started to pout. I wanna go in there with Dad! No, you're supposed to stay here and watch Max, remember? I said sternly. Rihanna wrinkled her nose at me. You lost Max! I gotta go to the bathroom! Brianna, Dad will be back soon. Can't you just do it a little longer? No, I gotta go now. I was like, that's great. All of this drama for merely $10. Okay, fine, I said, finally giving in. When you go inside, don't touch anything. Just use the bathroom and come right out. Got that? I'll say hi to Dad too. No, you're gonna use the bathroom and then we are coming back to the van and wait for. Before I could finish my sentence, Brianna slid open the van door and dashed in the front steps. By the time I caught to the call up here, she was already ringing on the doorbell. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. The frustrated looking lady answered the door again and surprised to see Brianna and me. I really apologize for disturbing you. I stammered, but we're out in the van waiting for our dad and hey lady, I gotta go pee! Brianna interrupted. Then she started screaming and making other reflection for maximum dynamic effect. The lady looked at Brianna, then at me, then back at Brianna. She stretched her thin red lips into a stained smile. Oh, your dad is our exterminator. Sure, honey, the bathroom is right this way. Follow me. Inside of the house looks like something out of my mom's fancy home and garden magazine. We are headed down the hallway to the foyer when the lady stopped in the tracks. Oh wait, there's a box for in the bathrooms on the main floor. You have to use one of the upstairs. All the bedrooms have an attached bathroom. I'll escort you. But my cart catcher is supposed to call me any minute never finding her account. The telephone rang and the lady gasped and rushed off, leaving us standing here. Brianna smiled and darted up the huge staircase ahead of me. As she entered the first bedroom on the right side, squealed quickly, "Oh, pretty!" It was decorated in shades of pink and had plush carpeting soft enough to sleep on. The laptop and big screen TV were to die for. My entire bedroom could fit into the walk-in closet. But personally, it was a little too sugary in spite of my taste. Not that I was jealous or anything. Like, how juvenile would that be? Hey, can I jump in on the princess's bed? Brianna asked. No, I snapped. Get down! It took all my willpower not to snoop. I wonder what school the girl attended and if we could ever be friends. I bet she had a perfect life, unlike me. Brianna skipped into the adjoining bathroom and locked the door behind her. Well, I'm gonna get a bathroom like this for my birthday. Soon I heard the toilet flush, but after 3 minutes she did not come out. Brianna, hurry up! I shouted through the door. Wait, I'm still washing my hands and really go the strawberry so that I'm going to put it on this yummy smelling coffee patty spray. Come on, we have to go back to the van now. Wait, I'm almost done. Suddenly I heard strictly familiar voice. But Mom, I can't have my power with these horrible bugs crawling over. We should have this country club I wanted. This is totally your fault. I almost wet my pants. It was Mackenzie. I was like, OMG, OMG, OMG. Today was the party I'd not been invited to. It was like that made a nightmare. I was trapped in Mackenzie's bedroom. My sister was locked in Mackenzie's bedroom, and my dad was exterminating Mackenzie's house. And all that wasn't awful enough. Our van, the humongous roach in the top of it, was parked in Mackenzie's driveway with my last name plastered across the side of it. The van, not the roach. I wanted to dig this deep hole in the round pink carpet, crawl into and die. I pounded on the door. Brianna, come on, open up! I'm busy, go away! You have been there long enough, now open the door. Say pretty please. Pretty please. Now say pretty please with sugar on top. Okay, open the door, pretty please with sugar on top. No, I'm not done yet! Mom, this party is going to be a disaster. My reputation will be ruined. We have to cancel it. I could hear Mackenzie's shrieks going louder. She was coming up the stairs. Brianna, open the door quick, please, in mercy. I hissed through the door. Wait, I'm putting on the yummy sweat and cupcake body spray now. Oh, what's the emergency? Now Mackenzie was on the hallway. Mom, I called Jessica. She'll never believe this is happening to me. I exactly 3 seconds to convince Brianna to open the bathroom door. Brianna, it's the tooth fairy. She's coming and we have to get out here now. The lock in the door clicked and Brianna whipped to open the door. She looked even more friendly. She had been the Princess Sugar Fairy. Did you say Tooth Fairy? Yes, come on, let's hide, quick! Brianna was panicking, starting to whine. Where is she? I'm scared. I want Daddy. Let's hide on the back shower curtain. If you're really quiet, she will never find us. Brianna shut up instantly, but her eyes were big as saucers. I actually felt a little sorry for her. We dove into the bathtub and huddled in behind the shower curtain. I could hear Mackenzie stopping around her bedroom and screaming around and fro. Jess, there's no way I can have this party now. Our house is going with bugs. What? How am I supposed to know what they are? They're these big black roaches or something. Some guys hear us spraying, but now the house stinks. It stinks, Jess. How can I have a party with this house stinking? Nikki, I'm scared. I want my daddy now. Beg Mom to let me have my party at the country club. Lindisha's mom let her have her party at the country club, but no! Getting my mom to do anything these days other than putting tea. Why did Mackenzie have to say the T word? Brianna told us she's climbing on the tub. Oh no, did you hear that? She says she's going to pull out my teeth. I wanna go home! Brianna, wait! I tackled her and held her in the headlock. Finally, she stopped and screaming and went limp. Then the little rat bit me hard. I looked over and yelped in pain like we wounded the animal. Yow! But it did inside my head, so no one else heard it but me. Brianna scrambled out of the tub, opened the bathroom door, and disappeared into Mackenzie's bedroom. I froze and held my breath. I could not believe this was happening to me. Then I thought maybe this was a nightmare, like the scary, weird dream I was having earlier in my week about Chloe and Zoe. If I would just wake up, this would all go away. So I closed my eyes, pinched myself really hard, and tried to wake up. When I opened my eyes, I was still standing in Mackenzie's bathtub with Brianna's now black and blue teeth marks on my arm. To a throbbing red pinch mark. I so wished I was dead. So another idea popped into my head. If I turned on Mackenzie's shower and stood under the freezing cold water for an hour, I might die for a supernova. But even that cold would could take a few days, and I need to be dead right now. OMG, yes, there's a little kid in my room. How would I know? She appeared out of nowhere. I told Amanda a million times my room is off limits to her pesky little friends. Hold on. Mom, Amanda and her friends are playing in my room again. Will you please do something? Okay, sis, I'm back. If there is so much to top my makeup again, I swear I'm going to strangle. Don't you dare touch me, you wicked tooth fairy! Brianna screeched at the top of her lungs. Suddenly, I felt really lightheaded. I was sure I was about to faint. Hold a minute, Jess? Who told you I was a tooth fairy? What are you doing in my room? And where is Amanda? You can't have my tooth, never! Brianna screamed bravely. Mom, Amanda! Hold on, Jess. I have to get rid of this little kid. I'm going to kill Amanda. Well, okay. Out of my room right this Stop, let go of me! I love my kids! There's a lot of them in Mackenzie Street. Mom! It's just I just been attacked them out in Munchen! OMG, I think I'm bruised. I can't wear my view. My new Jimmy Choo flop fist and a big bruise on my leg. Are we still digest? I can't have my party like this. I still got a bruise on the side of the pancake. No, I didn't get bruised by a pancake. I said, hold on. I could hear Mackenzie hopping down the stairs with a one-legged power. Clink conk, clink conk, clink conk. Ma, last week I met an apprentice put gum in my hair and covered my lipsticks. Now one of them just. Then when it sounded like Mackenzie's screeches were coming from the safe distance away, I jumped out of the bathtub, grabbed Brianna, and tossed her over my shoulder in a sack of rotten potatoes. Without stopping even once, I hauled her down the stairs, through the hall, into the door free out the front door. I disposed of pot in the back seat of the bed and then slammed the door. Yeah, I was being back in the back, loading up the equipment. Oh, there you go, result. Perfect timing. I'm all done. As Dan started the van and drove up, I stared at the house, half expecting Mackenzie to come in limping out the front door and ranting that Brianna be arrested for creating rules that prevented her from wearing her new Jimmy Choo's at her birthday party. Amazingly, Brianna sat calmly at the bathroom and seemed quite pleased with herself. Daddy, guess what? I went to the bathroom, then after wash our hands with strawberry soap, and I put. Daddy, guess what? I went to use the bathroom, and after I washed my hands with strawberry soap and put on a cupcake body spray, I saw the tooth fairy and we over the hair and taking a fairy phone, and she said it's going to strangle me and pull it out of my teeth to make dentures for old people. So she grabbed me, I kicked her, and she let go and started screaming for her mommy. Then she flew back to the fairyland to go to a party for Jimmy Choo. She's not so nice, that's for sure. I feel like I like Santa and the Easter Bunny much better. Lucky for us, Dad was half listening to Brianna's rambling. Sorry, Pumpkin. So what your Princess Sugar Plum movie was about? At the next stoplight, I noticed a car load of him boys pointing and laughing. I put my plastic bag over my head and slouched down in the seat. I was so mad I could spit all of this drama for a messy $10. Sunday, September 29. I'm starting to get really excited because the avant-garde art competition is only 8 days away. I decided to enter my watercolor painting that took me 2 whole summers at art camp to complete. I spent more 130 hours on it. The only complication is that I gave it to my mom and dad last spring for their 16th wedding anniversary. So it's technically not mine anymore. It's either my painting or spending my entire life savings of $109 and 21 cents and $109.21 to buy them dinner at a fancy restaurant. But I knew the dinner was going to be a total rip-off because I watched the Food Network. All of those 5-star restaurants serve really gross stuff like frog legs and snails and then give it to a tiny portion of a really big plate and with chocolate syrup drizzled over it. And a garnish is just a fancy name for plain old piece of parsley. So to save money, Brianna and I decided to cook a renting candlelit dinner for mom and dad as an anniversary surprise. We took a big bucket and a net to the pond at the park and hauled down some fresh bugs and snails. It was my idea to make an all-you-can-eat buffet since we basically getting the food for free. Shan, Nikki, and her assistant prepared a nasty gourmet dinner for frog legs and snails. Me playing with my food, sauce. Runaway snail, parsley, fresh frog legs, fresh snails, love at first sight. Ew! Trying to prepare a gourmet dinner was definitely harder than I thought it would be. The frogs came jumping out the bowl and the snails wouldn't stand the plate. Unfortunately, none of those shows in the Food Network display how to control other critters while you're trying to cook them. And Brianna was no help whatsoever. She was supposed to be my assistant, but she kept sweeping frogs and kissing them to see if they turned into princess. I scolded her really a good about that because she had no idea where these frogs' lives had been. Not surprisingly, Brianna threw a big hissy fit when it came to put the food in the oven. She said they were her friends, and friends don't cook friends! I had to admit she did have a good point, so we decided to take Mom and Dad's anniversary dinner back to the pond and let them go. I guess you could say they were really lucky. They, meaning the frogs and snails, not Mom and Dad. Since our dinner plans fell through and I didn't want to power my last savings, I stuck a big Merry Christmas bow in the watercolor painting and used as a mental gift instead. Mom and Dad must have really loved it because they paid a ton of money to have a person professionally matted and put into an expensive antique frame. Then they hung in our living room right over the couch. Even though it's now a priceless find a room with tremendous sentimental value, Mom said I could borrow it for avant-garde art competition as long as I took really good care of it. I was like, Mom, don't worry, nothing's going to happen. I'll be super careful, I promise. Although now I think about it, Jamie Lynn Spears probably told her mom the exact same thing. Monday, September 30. I couldn't believe that Mackenzie actually came to school on crutches today. She even stuck little heart stickers on them so that they matched her new Gucci Who handbag. Only someone as vain as Mackenzie would try to look cute while hobbling around in crutches. She didn't have a cast on her leg or anything, but just a SpongeBob band-aid below her left knee. How fake is that? According to the latest gossip, Mackenzie was taking scuba diving lessons on Saturday from this really hot ninth grader when she repeated her shin while saving him from drowning. She supposedly did mouth-to-mouth session with him until the ambulance arrived. And since the poor guy dying wished for her to escort him to the hospital, she was forced to cancel her birthday party. So she rescheduled it for Saturday, October 20th at 12 at her parents' country club. I was like, yeah, right. Mackenzie is such a liar and a drama queen. Why couldn't she just tell the truth and admit her party was cancelled because her house was infested with bugs and stank from bug spray? Anyway, today I could hardly wait for lunch. Chloe and Zoe were excited than I was. We sat at our usual table and stuffed our lunch as fast as we could. Then I rolled up Zoe's sleeve, took my lucky pen, and started on her tattoo. She kept giggling, squirming as she said, as it tickled. I said, "Listen, Joey, shut up and still. I'm gonna turn any stray ink marks into an ugly baby snake." Lucky for her, she stopped moving after that. Practically everyone in the cafeteria was staring at us, but I ignored them and kept on working. Joey's tattoo turned out really cool and she loved it. Winning an extreme sport! I was just getting on started in Chloe's tattoo when the weirdest thing happened. Jason Fredman got up, left the CCTV table, and sat down at our table to watch. He's just the most popular guy in the entire school and the president of the student council. On the cute list scale, I will say he was on 9.93 out of 10. You're doing a tattoo with a pen? Cool! It looks so real. I should know because my brother just got home for his 18th birthday. It's a special LSA project for National Library Week, Chloe said, and batted her eyelash as I with a flurry like, yeah, in the latest fashion magazines say tattoos are hot. Zoe added it's this really noisy voice that sounded a lot like Paris Hilton. Those two were acting like so phony baloney. It was sickening. I thought I was going to puke on my lesson right in Jason's lap. So what do I do to get one? Jason asked excitedly. Donate a book or something? Do you have a sign-up sheet? Chloe and Zoe's faces lit up at the same time, and I could see the little light bulb click in their brains. I decided and rolled my eyes. It was the tattoo thing. Then the Ballet of the Zombies and running away to the secret underground tunnel at NYC Public Library. I didn't know if I could put up with much more of this drama. Chloe folded her eyelashes at Jason again. Well, Nikki is art director. I'm overseeing book pronouncement, and Zoe is here handles scheduling. Zoe, would you please give Justin our sign-up sheet? What sign-up sheet? Zoe asked, looking confused. Chloe looked at her and said really loudly, You know the sign-up sheet in your notebook, silly. Finally, Zoe caught up. Oh, that sign-up sheet, of course. She gazed at Jason and giggled nervously. Zoe whipped out her notebook, tore out a sheet of paper, scrambled tattoo sign-up sheet across the top, and handed it to Chloe. Chloe added the words, book donation required, new or used, in bold letters and gave it to Jason. I was shocked and proud to see Chloe and Zoe lying like that. I always felt honesty was a very important quality as a friend. Jason scrawled his name in sign-up sheet and yelled to his lunch table on the other side of the cafeteria. Hey, Crenshaw, get Thompson and come check this out. Ryan Crenshaw was a 9.8 X6 and Matt Thompson was a 9.998. They both come over and sat at our table right next to Jason. Alternately started giggling and talking to me. Chloe and Zoe were like the CCP girls or something. And I decided that though an innocent friend was like, I can hook you up with really cute guys. Friend at the other corner was far better. And besides, Chloe and Zoe weren't actually lying. They were just over embellishing some fabricated truths. Although I was enjoying the unexpected attention, there was an instinct growing deep down inside my gut that had me really worried. Why were the most popular CCP guys suddenly sitting at the lunch table, following Chloe, Zoe, and me, the three biggest dorks in the school? And what exactly they want from us? Then I had to force myself to ponder the most intriguing and trouble questionable. It was my lucky pen was my lucky pen going to melt from all the CCP guy hunt list? There were three reasons why I was a little worried about my pen. Within minutes, 7 more guys had crashed over our table and passing through the sign-up sheet and boasting about how wicked their tat was going to be. I finally finished up Chloe's tattoo and she said it was perfect. Reading is magical. Jason rolled his sleeve and took Chloe's place. Hey dude, listen up. Mine's gonna say Guitar Hero. All of the guys started slapping on him in the back and giving him high fives and fist bumps. He was acting all smug, like he was getting a new sports car or something. Then a large crowd of girls gathered around the large crowd of guys to watch me work on Jason's tattoo. Isn't she the new girl? I think her locker is right next to Mackenzie's. She's like the best artist in the entire school. Hey, I wanna sign up. Give me the sheet next. What's your name? Mickey, Ricky, or Vicky, I think. Whatever her name is, that girl's got skills. I am so jealous. I can't draw a stick figure. She's in my first class. Her name is Nikki Maxwell. I love to draw on Jason Friedman. He's hot. OMG, I'd get anything to be Nikki Maxwell. I was starting to feel like a pop star. The only CCP not at our table was Mackenzie and a little group. They were glaring at us across from the cafeteria. By the end of the lunch period, I completed 7 tattoos. Chloe had collected 9 books, and Zoe had scheduled 11 people to get tattoos tomorrow at lunch. We decided to call our new LSA project Exchange Trade a Book for a Tattoo. In no time, the entire school was gossiping about it. Mrs. Peach said collecting books for charity was a wonderful idea, and she was really proud of us. Brandon even congratulated me and he wanted to interview me for the school newspaper on Friday since I was breaking news. He said he planned to photograph a few students showing up their new tattoos for the article. Now I can hardly wait for Friday to get here. There's a chance we might actually become good friends. But absolute most mind-blowing thing about all of this is that Chloe, Zoe, and I started the school day as LSA dorks and ended as CCP divas. How cool is that? Tuesday, October 1. The tattoo craze has already caught on at WCD. I did 11 more during lunch and most of us CCP sat on our table to watch. It was pretty cool hanging out with them and they were not mean or snotty like we thought they'd be. I guess it was just a matter of getting to know them better. Surprisingly, I ended up doing another 6 tattoos while doing LSA Dewey. It seems like everyone and their mother was getting library passes during 5th hour homeroom and pestering me. But Mrs. P said she didn't mind me just not shipping books, since I was working on a group project. So far, we collected a total of 43 books for charity, which is fantastic, but it was mainly because Chloe decided to start charging 2 books per tattoo instead of 1. Zoe and I thought 1 book was perfectly fine. We told her so. But Chloe said that since she was the director of the book pronouncement, it was her decision, not ours, so it doesn't matter what we thought or what we thought. How rude was that? I was like, okay, Chloe, we're supposed to doing this as a group project. Who died and make you queen? Chloe the Great, queen of books. But I just said it in my head so no one else heard it but me. So now we are getting 2 books for each tattoo. Although it seems a bit greedy if you ask me. Wednesday, October 2nd. I used to daydream about everyone at WCD knowing my name, and today was more than 24 people say hi to me. I even got my first hour class. It made me happy to have so many new friends. In biology, we had to choose a lab partner and look at specimens under a microscope. I thought for sure that Brandon was going to ask me to work with him, but 3 people interrupted him while he was trying to talk to me. They were like, "Hey Nikki, let's work together so we can talk about my new tattoo design." But I didn't want to talk to people I hardly knew about tattoos. I wanted to have a really deep emo convo with Brandon about dust mitts. In the end, I got stuck with X's Hamilton, the captain of the cheerleaders. The whole time we were working on, she did a blab about how the cheerleaders need to come up with a super hot tattoo for their big game against Central, which BTW was on Friday. But I already knew this because I overheard them talking about my locker this morning. A few of them here were waiting around for me after a second hour and they were seemed pretty cranky. It wasn't like I was afraid of them or anything. I just jumped inside my locker because I can be a little shy at times. Anyway, I told Alexis that everyone had to sign up with Zoe first, but she said Zoe had a waiting list of 149 people through next Wednesday and she needed the hat right away since we were caught in an emergency. Alexis says she already donated 3 books for each tattoo for Chloe, and Chloe was authorized in the squad to be placed on the top of the waiting list. So now it was 3 books? I told Alexis that since Zoe was director of scheduling and Chloe was director of book pronouncement, she'll probably just ignore Chloe. Then Alexis got an attitude about the whole thing and refused to talk to me or help write out lab report on dust mites. Talk about karate lab partner. But what really upset me was that Zoe scheduled 149 people without asking me first. I have a French test on Friday and a geography test on next Monday, and I'm barely putting a C each on those classes. How am I supposed to study if I'm staying up past midnight every night designing tasks for all these people? And I hadn't had time to eat lunch for the past 2 days. Then I was leaving class. Samantha Gaze stopped me to say hi, how much she loved her tat of Justin Timberlake. She said all of our friends in the drama club wanted one too. She invited me to hang out with them after school on Friday, and I told her I'd let her know, but how can I have a social life when I had to draw tattoos 24/7? Thursday, October 3. I had a karate day today. It seems like Chloe, Zoe, and everyone cares about is tattoos. I came to school early and then 9, and then I 14 at lunchtime and another 10 during library. That's 33 tattoos. But then I overheard Zoe tell Chloe behind my back. Then I worked slower than a contemplating snail in ice storm, and I decided needed to speed up time since she now had 216 people on the waiting list for next week. I was so not doing 216 tattoos in 1 week. And I told Zoe that right to her face in a really friendly way. Then Chloe wanted to know why I told Alexis to ignore her. She said that since cheerleaders had a big game, she thought they could be put at the top of the list for tomorrow. That's when Zoe said in the director was scheduling that the decision was hers alone and she didn't care what Chloe thought, which was the exact same thing Chloe had said to us a few days ago. Then Mrs. Peach came over and asked us to plead lower voices because we were, after all, in a library. But I knew better. It wasn't a library. It was a wicked tattoo shop. Friday, October 4th. Tattoos today, a big flat 0. Books today, a big fat 0. Why? First of all Chloe and Zoe were mad because I didn't come to school early and there were 17 people waiting for tattoos. Well, excuse me, but I have friends text today that I had to study for. Then at lunch there were 25 people waiting, but instead of sitting table 9 and helping me, Chloe and Zoe sat at the CCP table on the other side of the cafeteria. I could see them glittering and acting all flurry with Jason Ryan mad when I was supposed to be working my butt up like Cinderella or somebody. But I nearly freaked when I saw Mackenzie give Chloe and Zoe invitations to her rescheduled party for next Saturday. There were pink envelopes with big white satin ribbons tied around them, just like the one she had given me, and then taken back when she uninvited me. Chloe and Zoe were acting all happy and talking up to Mackenzie, even though they knew she hated my guts. So I did the most mature, and irrational thing possible under the circumstances. I quit. If I had to draw one more tattoo, I'm going to vomit. I thought Chloe and Zoe were my real friends, but now I can see that they were just using me all along to earn that trip to NYC for National Library Week. How could they do this to me? Then Brandon came out to my locker all smiling and he wanted to invite me in a newspaper after school, but I told him to just forget it because my tattoo career was over. He asked me if I was okay and I said, yeah, it's all good. I just need to find some new friends. He just blinked and looked kind of confused, and he shrugged and walked away. So now it's Chloe, Zoe, and Brandon are tripping. I hope all three of them have a blast at Mackenzie's little party since they all got invited and I didn't. But it wasn't like I was jealous of them or anything. I mean, how totally jubilant that would be. That would be. Saturday, October 5th. I had the most horrible nightmare. It was like something out of a Twilight Zone. Mackenzie was spitting box at me and I could hear all the 5th hour bell ringing and ringing. It was like everyone was out to get me. Thank goodness I finally woke up. That's when I realized it was morning and the telephone wasn't ringing, not the 5th hour bell. I grabbed myself out of bed and answered the phone on my desk. It was my grandma calling to tell us she was planning to come visit for 2 weeks at the end of the month. I told her my parents must already be out running errands or something since they hadn't answered the phone. Then she asked me how I was doing and I told her not so good. I said I was thinking about transferring out of my school and asked her would she what she would do if she were me. She said it was not so much about the school I chose, but whether I choose to be a chicken or a champion. Which of course had absolutely nothing to do with anything. Since Grandma was talking out of her head again, I told her that I loved her, but that I had to go because someone was at my door, then I hung up. I wasn't lying to her because, unfortunately, Brianna and Miss Penelope were at my bedroom door. Miss Penelope wanted me to watch her do a melody song from High School Musical 3 in the singings of Annie Winehouse. Then I've been waiting for less than 3 minutes and I've been forced to deal with my grandma, my hysterical sister, and a wacky puppet. I climbed back into my bed, pulled my covers up over my head, and screamed for 2 minutes. So many freaks and not enough crisis. Monday, October 7th. Please, please, please make all of this not really be happening to me. Today has been the worst day of my entire life. It all started Sunday night when I was sitting on my desk doing review problems for my geometry test. My mom came into my room around midnight to tell me she was leaving the house extra early in the morning to chaperone a field trip for Brianna's class. Nikki, since you have a test and the art competition tomorrow, it's really important that you set your alarm clock so you don't oversleep in the morning. I was like, thanks, Mom. Good night. I already planned to set my lock clock as soon as I finished my geometry problems. But the next thing I knew, it was morning. And I was still sitting on my desk with my geometry book open. I just about to have a heart attack because according to my clock, it was 7:36 a.m. on Monday. And my first hour class started at 8 a.m. The only logical explanation was that I must have fallen asleep while starting on my desk. My day was off to a very bad start. I overslept. I didn't have a ride to school. My painting needed to be turned in for the art show and my geometry test started in less than 24. No, make that 3 minutes. Even the weather perfectly matched my miserable mood. It was dark, overcast, and pouring rain. I was fighting back my tears. Suddenly, I heard a little rumble on our garage door opening. I ran to my bedroom window and started one of the flicker headlights. It was my dad! And he was leaving the house. I rushed around the room in panic, trying to get dressed before he pulled out. I jumped into my jeans and slid in my jacket. When I couldn't find one of my shoes, I decided to change into my gym shoes once I got to school. I grabbed my backpack and my painting and dashed downstairs like a maniac. By the time I got out of the front door, my dad was already pulling out to the street. I ran down the driveway, waving my arms and screaming hysterically, "Wait, Dad! Wait! I overslept! I need a ride to school!" Only I couldn't run very fast because I was loaded down with my backpack and the painting, of course. My bunny slippers didn't help the situation either. Unfortunately, my dad didn't see me. So I stood there in our driveway in the pouring rain feeling really, really cruddy. I couldn't believe I was going to miss the art show, Received an F on my drama test and unexcused absence of all of the same day. I got this large painful lump in my throat and I felt like crying again. But my dad must have finally noticed me in the mirror or something because he suddenly slammed his brakes, screech. I took off running down the street towards the van as I could, fast as I could. As I climbed in, Dad chuckles. The Sleeping Beauty need a ride to school or you're waiting on your prince. I ignored this corny little joke and collapsed into the back seat of the van. I was soaking wet, but I felt happy and relieved. All was not lost. And yet, anyway, I also felt really anxious. It was for the first time this year I was riding to school in the Roachmobile. And if anyone stopped me getting out of it, I was going to absolutely die. By the time we pulled up in the front of the school and the rain had finally stopped, thank goodness, the only other vehicle around the large truck with some men in uniform carrying tall flat paddles. I guess they were the display for the art show. I thanked Dad for the ride, grabbed my painting, and climbed out of the van. Just as I was about to slam the door, he shut away me, pointing my backpack in the floor. Hey, I think you're forgetting something. I carefully set my painting on the ground and leaned against the side of the van. Then I climbed back in and grabbed my backpack. I think I sat down. Thanks again, Dad. I waited inside the van door shut. I could not believe I actually made it to school one piece 6 minutes to spare. And not a single store had found me getting out of the Roachmobile. It was a miracle in and of itself. I noticed a girl wearing a matching blueberry raincoat and boots climbing out the back of the truck parked in front of us. Hey, be careful with that body. It's a piece of art, not a piece of plywood. She snarled at one of the men. I froze and thought I was trying to duck back into the van to hide when she left, but it was too late. Mackenzie's mouth dropped open. At first, she had a look of shock on her face as she stared at me. My van and Max? Yes, the roach. Then her lips spread into an really evil grin. Wait a minute. You're the same Maxwell as Maxwell's bug! Exclamation. And what is that hideous brown thing on top of your van? A dead horse? Let me guess. It's supposed to be a matching set with those 2 dead bunnies on your feet. I just clattered and didn't say a word. Okay, Mackenzie was a dispute winner if you were competing for the richest snob, cutest designer, wardrobe most friends, coolest bedroom, or biggest house. But we weren't. Avant-garde art was about pure, underrated talent, which Mackenzie could not buy with her parents' money. It was Fab Four Faction illustration against my watercolor. And that was when finally I remembered my painting. I spun around and wanted to grab it just as my dad was pulling out, but I was too late. I gasped and watched her in the van slowly cross glass antique wood frame. My hopes and my dreams was shockingly painful to see an unique expression of me that had taken more than 130 hours to capture in watercolor. The brutally destroyed in a matter of seconds. But the torn, twisted, splintered mess on the side of the crowd was not nearly as ugly as Mackenzie's final insult. Oh no! Was that your little art project? Too bad! Hey, just throw a box on it and then turn it as a modern art piece called Maxwell's Box on Garbage. She cackled like a witch and sashayed off. I just hated when Mackenzie sashayed. I watched his side at the Roachmobile turn into the corner and disappear down the road. For the first time in my life, I was inside it, warm and dry and spitting away from Mackenzie, away from friends who were really not my friends, away from Westchester Country Day Middle School. I didn't fit at this place, and I was sick and tired of trying. I sat down on the side of the crib, next to the pieces of my painting, and cried. The rain started pouring again, but I didn't care. I've been sitting there like forever, trying to sort things out of my head. When I noticed it and stopped raining, me anyway, then I recognized a faint aroma of snuggle fabric softener, Axe body spray, and red light. I stood up and was surprised and slightly embarrassed to see Brandon standing there holding on the veranda of me. You okay? I didn't answer. Then he extended his hand. I just looked at it and sighed. If I sat down in the curb in the cold rain much longer, I'd probably end up dying of pneumonia, which BTW didn't sound like much of a bad thing. I grabbed up his head and he slowly put me up in the next wet curve. I could not believe we were doing this stupid little scene all over again. How pathetic! I reminded him of my running nose on the back of my hand. I was not going to let him see me cry. But Bubba just stood there and not saying anything. He was just staring at me and I was just staring at the ground. Suddenly, Brandon stuck deep into his pocket and finished at the wrinkled-looking piece of tissue. I think you have something on your face? Probably it's not, I said sarcastically and snatched the tissue from his hand. Yeah, probably, he said, trying hard not to smile. I dig those shoes. They're not shoes, they're bunny slippers. I was in a really big hurry this morning, okay? I blew my nose at him loudly and angry. Honk! It looks like you had a little accident with your project. I wouldn't call it little. Well, if it will make you a little feel better, Mackenzie is entering some life-size paper dolls. I say your painting is still better than hers, even in 27 pieces with more smaller than a few worms. A mysterious face slowly spread across Brandon's face. Come on, everyone knows you have most talent and your smallest bird then. Yeah, I know, I said, interrupting him and blushing uncontrollably. I hate it when he did that to me. Okay, even though I was mad at the world, I had to admit, this whole thing was a little funny, in a bent sort of way. Finally, I smiled at Brandon and winked at me. He was such a dork, but in a good way. He had a slight weird sense of humor and he was friendly and a little shy all at the same time. And unlike me, he didn't accept what other people thought about him. I think that was probably the coolest thing about him. Thanks for the umbrella! Hey, no prob. They both walked to the front entrance. Even though the building was warm, I felt really chilled. My slippers were soaking. Seems like I was wearing sponges dripped in ice water on my feet. I need to get my shoes out of my locker, then go to the office to call my dad. Hopefully, he can drop me some dry clothing. So I'll walk you to the office if you don't mind. My class is on the way. As Brandon and I made our way down the hall, some people stopped and stared, while others pointed and laughed, but I just ignored them. I knew I looked pretty crazy with every step I took. My body slippers went slushy squeak, slushy squeak, and left small puddles of water behind me. When I finally got to my locker, there was a large crowd of kids gathered around it. At first, I thought they were there for tattoos, but everyone quickly scattered. Then I saw what they were looking at. Bug Girl. It felt like someone had punched in my stomach so hard I could hardly breathe. I covered my mouth and tried to blink my tears for what that seemed like the 10th time this morning. Somehow went in my locker and what appeared to be Rabbit's Red Hot Cinnamon Twist lip gloss, which BTW was Mackenzie's favorite. I'm really sorry, Brandon stammered. Only a real loser would do something as mean and stupid as... But I couldn't hear what he said. I turned around, pushed my way to the crowded hallway, and went straight to the office to call my parents. I couldn't take it anymore. I was leaving Manchester Country Day Middle School and never coming back. Thursday, October 8th. Today I stayed home from school with a cold, and I just lounged in my bed all day and drank lemon tea. The 3-hour bank show rocked as usual, but for some reason it couldn't cheer me up. After my dad picked me up from school yesterday, I started thinking that maybe I was overreacting. Watching my painting being smashed into a zillion pieces had been pretty traumatic. But it was mainly Mackenzie who was starting making my life miserable. Maybe WCD wasn't a horrible pace. Maybe if I tried talking to Chloe and Zoe, we could go back to being friends again. Maybe Brandon hadn't written me up a total loser. So Monday afternoon, I called the library desk during 5th hour to talk to Chloe and Zoe. Plus, I was teensy bit curious how Mackenzie's art project turned out. Okay, I admit I was dying to know. My hands were trembling and I dialed the phone. Library 1 desk, Zoe speaking. Hi Zoe, it's me, Nikki. I was just calling to see how you guys were doing. You'll never believe what happened to me this morning. And I heard Chloe muffled voice in the background. OMG, it's her? Just say you can't talk right now because we were really busy. We don't have time to waste. What's up, Nikki? Brandon told us everything what happened actually. He's right here now. Too bad over your project. Zoe stammered nervously. Yeah, I know. So, what does the three of you do? Listen, Nikki, I really have to hang up now. We are really busy with a project. Chloe and Brandon said hi. Wait, Zoe, I just wanted to know. Sorry, gotta go. See you tomorrow. Bye. Click. The conversation. There was no doubt in my mind that Chloe, Zoe, and Brandon practically hated me. So there wasn't really anything left to do but make plans to transfer to a new school and have a really good cry. Which is what I've been doing and for the past 24 hours. The only good thing that come out of all of this that my parents have been worried about my emotional state. They finally agreed me to let me transfer to a nearby public school. I thank my dad for arranging the scholarship and all, but unfortunately it just hadn't worked out. Surprisingly, mom and dad took the news about their anniversary painting being destroyed really well. I even promised I'll paint a new one, although Brianna insisted that she wanted to do it instead. Don't worry, mom and dad. I'm almost done making you a brand new anniversary present. And it's way better than Nikki's demo painting. But I had a really bad feeling about Brianna's art project. When I asked her if she used her finger paints or crayon, she said, nope, a black parallel marker. And I drew over the couch in the exact same spot while your painting was hanging. Brianna said her drawing was called The Maxwell Family Visits Princess Sugar Plum Fairy and the Unicorn Island. When Mom saw Brianna's wall mural, she just about fainted. Then Brianna tried to get it out of it by blaming Miss Penelope. It was kind of nice to laugh again after feeling so hopelessly depressed. Wednesday, October 9th. My parents and I drove over to WCD 45 minutes early so we can get everything taken care of before students started arriving. As Mom and Dad sat in the office chatting with the secretary and completing the school transfer paperwork, I couldn't help notice the colorful displays of the main entry for the art competition. No matter how much I tried to convince myself I didn't care, I just had to know if Mackenzie had won. It was like I was obsessed or something. If I hurried, I could stop by the art competition for a few minutes and still have time to clear out my locker, get back to the office, and be out of the building before anyone spotted me. Well, I better get going, I murmured to my parents. I grabbed my empty cardboard box I had brought to carry my junk from my locker and headed down the hall. The art exhibit was set up in a large student lounge near the cafeteria and was divided by grades. I hurried past the 6th and 7th grade displays to the 8th grade section, where of 24 entries, and I immediately spotted Mackenzie's. Like everything she said, it was big, bold, and over the top. She had painted 7 life-size mannequins dressed in her Fab Forever fashion on 6-foot-tall panels. I had to admit she was actually a fashion illustrator. But the strange thing was that I didn't see her first place ribbon. Although knowing Mackenzie, she probably had taken it home so her parents could have it bows on to match her baby shoes. Then again, maybe not. I was surprised to see the blue ribbon was hanging on the very nasty display. I couldn't help pitying the poor artist who had to put up with the drama over Mackenzie's very public and humiliating defeat. The winning display was a series of 16 8 10 shows of close-up black and white photographs of ink artwork. Then I read the title and the artist's name. I almost freaked out! I immediately recognized the tattoo artwork on Zoe's shoulder, Chloe's arm, Tyler's neck, Sophia's ankle, Matt's wrist, and on and on. This was the project Chloe, Zoe, and Brendan were working on and said they were too busy to talk to me on the telephone Monday afternoon. Slowly but surely, the reality of the situation started to soak in. I was like, OMG, I won the first place about Grey Art! The first place and $500! Thanks to Chloe, Zoe, and Brandon. They must have cooked up this elaborate scheme after my painting got destroyed. And that fabulous display with my name on it had probably taken hours to complete. I was so wrong about them. They were the best friends ever. And more than a dozen other kids have volunteered to be photographed. All of this totally blew my mind. Maybe WCD was not a horrible place after all. I actually have real friends here. And of course, it didn't hurt that I was now rich, rich, rich beyond my wildest dreams. I hurried back to the office and dazed and burst inside. Mom, Dad, I changed my mind. I want to stay. They both looked surprised. Honey, are you okay? My mom asked, concerned. Actually, Mom, I'm great. I changed my mind. I want to stay. Please. Well, it's up to you. Are you sure? My dad asked, putting down his pen. I'm sure. I'm really sure. The secretary gathered the papers from my dad, ripped them in half, and tossed them in the wastepacket. This is great news, she beamed. And congratulations on your first train in the art show. You're coming to the reception for the winners this Saturday, right? They'll be giving out cash rewards and card dinner. It's fabulous. My parents looked totally confused. I thought you said you didn't, my mom began, but I quickly interrupted her. Listen, I'll explain about this later. Don't you both have somewhere to be? I smiled and waved goodbye to them, hoping they will take the hint and get lost. Mom kissed my forehead. Okay, hon, we're glad you're deciding to hang in here. Yeah, and you can't thank Maxwell's extermination for hooking you up. My dad said and winked. I knew it worked out for you here if you just gave it a chance. Well, I gotta go. Oh, there, Dad! I tossed him in the cardboard box. Can you read out this for me? Then I turned and rushed out of the office. Students were starting to fill out the halls, and a few accidentally congratulated me as I made my way back to my locker. I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but I was ready and willing to deal with it. The graffiti had been cleaned up, thank goodness, but there was something new in my locker. I knocked on the door of the general closet and peeked inside. Chloe and Zoe were sitting in the forward corner and looking pretty sad. I felt kind of sorry for them. We owe you an apology for the way we acted, Chloe said. We got really carried away with all of the tattooing and book stuff, and that wasn't fair for you. Yeah, and we learned who our real friends are too. The CCPs wanted to hang out with us as long as you were doing the tattoos. What a bunch of phonies, Zoe added. Actually, I kind of figured out it too, but that angry mom cheerleader is too scary, I said, shuddering at the memory. Listen, please don't be mad, Nikki, Chloe said, starting to cheer up. Well, we had a confession to make. Zoe made her throat. Well, after we heard about the accident with your painting and we rounded up the kids with the best tattoo artwork, and Brandon took pictures of them during lunch, then he printed out the photographs on the computer in the newspaper office. Mrs. Pete let three of us work on your entry in the entire afternoon in the library. We call it the student body. And you'll never guess what happened. Chloe sniffed, blinking back tears. I won! You won! They stayed together. Wait, you knew? Zoe asked, surprised. Yeah, I just found out a few minutes ago. We know we shouldn't have done it without asking you first, but there wasn't time. You're not mad at us, are you? Chloe asked and gave me the yes hand to try to lighten the mood. Actually, I am. I'm very angry, I hissed. Chloe and Zoe both hung their heads and started the floor. We're sorry, you're trying to help, Zoe murmured. You're supposed to be my friends. How could you two do this to me? I'm so ticked. I would have given anything to have seen the look on your Mackenzie's face when she lost. I was trying too hard not to laugh. I was starting to snot. At first, both girls blinked and looked bewildered. Then slowly smiles spread across their faces until they were grinning from ear to ear. OMG, Nikki, you should have seen her, Chloe squealed. When they announced you as the winner, she went into shock. It was hilarious. Mackenzie threw his fit right in there in front of the judges. Zoe snickered. Pretty soon we'll be laughing and joking in the Dennis closet just like old times. Uh-oh, I think I just heard the first bell, I groaned. Let's get out of here before we start smelling our mildewy mop. Chloe and Zoe opened the door and then stood there waiting for me to leave first. Counting before, brains. Zoe winked and then gave me the stink eye. Counting before, beauty. Chloe grinned and then gave me the jazz hands. Hey girlfriends, I see the talent, but other than me, there is definitely no brains or beauty up there, I teased. That's when Chloe and Zoe both shocked me in my arm. Ow! I giggled. That hurt! 30 October 10th. There must be a big scare at the mall yesterday or something because 4 girls were wearing the exact same outfit. I hadn't really noticed until I overheard Mackenzie recording in the mall. OMG, look at that! They're all wearing the same but ugly instant. But wait, don't tell me. They were giving them away for free with a purchase for McDonald's Happy Meal? It was only 7:45 a.m. and I was already visualizing tape over her mouth. When Mackenzie finally noticed me, she tried to act all innocent. Just in case you're wondering, I didn't write "Bug Girl" in your locker. Lots of people wear ravishing warehouse, with a twist, I just rolled my eyes at her. That girl is such a liar. I didn't believe her for 1 second. Mackenzie flipped her hair and gazed at the perfect image in the mirror. Besides, when I did it, you don't have any proof. Then she applied her morning layer of lip gloss. Since I was stuck having a locker neck right next to Mackenzie's for the rest of the year, I decided to utilize the mind over matter copying strategy that Zoe had developed. In my mind, I was so over being impressed with Mackenzie because she didn't matter. Although I had to admit those hoop earrings she was wearing were to die for. Why is that huge dark dancing earrings look really glamorous in the 60p girls? But when normal girls like me wear them, we end up needing reconstructive cosmetic surgery. Zoe, Chloe, and I sat together at lunch at table 9, and a lot of people stopped by to ask about tattoos. Since our ink exchange program was such a big hit, and we had already collected about 200 books for charity, we decided to continue it for just 3 days for each month. Starting in November, it was going to be great not having to hide my locker inside between classes due to my fear of angry moms. My shyness. But the strange thing was that I actually started to look forward to attending National Library Week at NYC Public Library. And we had a good chance of being selected. Just think about it. Chloe, Zoe, and me in Manhattan for 5 days with our rents. How exciting would that be? We're going to have friends, fun, fashion, food, and furring, just like it said in That's So Hot magazine. And maybe even get tickets to the Trap Bank show. I just love that girl. I also plan to take a few advantage of the meet and greet with all those famous authors. I had no idea an autographed novel was so valuable. I plan to collect half dozen and sell them on eBay for big bucks. Then ka-ching! I could buy that iPhone I'm wanting. Am I not brilliant? BTW, I decided to save 500 prize money for art camp next summer. It was going to be my 5th year attending, and my illustrator said I already had enough portfolio strong enough for college. Which is pretty fantastic seeing I'm not even in high school yet. She said if I continue to work really hard, I could maybe land a 4-year scholarship to a major university. Sweet! Brandon stopped by our table and to ask if he could interview me about winning the avant-garde art competition, since it was breaking news. I thanked him taking photographs of my tattoo designs and told me it was a great job he had done on them. But he said it was no biggie and he planned to use the photos for the article he was writing. Then Mackenzie came over, acting all friendly, and actually congratulated me. I was so shocked. I almost puked my lunch on her Jimmy Choo shoes. But I think she was really just wanted to flirt with Brandon because she kept batting her lines at me all flurry. Like she had accidentally stuck a false eyelash on her eyeball or something. How does she have the nerve to do that right on my face? Probably because she has the IQ up limit. In spite of the fact that we had agreed not to do any tattoos until next month, Chloe and Zoe insisted that I do just one more for myself. Champion. My tattoo totally rocked. Okay, I admit I was wrong my grandma being sent now, but I was correct about that demented puppet Miss Penelope. After lunch Brandon walked with me to biology class. He brushed his hair out of his eyes with his fingers again, then smiling at me, kind of shy-like. So I was wondering if you wanted to be lab partners for structural mycology. I could not believe he asked me that. So I looked deep into his eyes and all serious and said, "Wee!" I'm sure he thought I was crazy. But hey, I can only be myself, right? I am such a dork. This was Dork Diaries by Rachel Renee Russell, read by Matilda. See you next time. 구독, 좋아요, subscribe, and like, please. Thank you.